Thank you for joining us for episode 3 of Common Sense Commanders, a series by Security Squared. Today we're going to talk about how to create a basic network diagram, and we are going to discuss just the required elements, specifically the point of origin, how to read a network diagram. We're going to discuss the concept of no arrows, and then finally we'll wrap it up by discussing name of the network and what year is it. I'm going to switch over to our visual demonstration. For today's episode, I am using YEd Graphics Editor. This is a free download. This is a great tool to create a basic network diagram, and so we're going to dive right in with a new document. Over on the right side, I have shape nodes and modern nodes and edge types and people and computer network. And so there's a bunch of different ways and a bunch of different things that we can do. This is the basic loadout. We're going to get started with the required elements, and the first required element for any network diagram is the point of origin. And so in this case, I always recommend the point of origin to be the World Wide Web, because most people can figure out where everything is if they know where the internet is. So I'm going to put www for World Wide Web, which is, I know, a little bit of an older designation, but most people know what the internet means. And then we're going to talk about how to read these. A lot of organizations make mistakes. They will take the World Wide Web, they'll put it in the center, and then they put a computer, and then they put the printer, and then they put a laptop, and they put the switch, and they'll put a router, and they stick these all in here, and they create a circular shape, and that is a general mistake that we'd like to avoid. What we want to do is read from left to right, or top to bottom, or both. So if I put the World Wide Web here, and then I go ahead and take this and add a label, and we're just going to call this the router. Okay, and after that, we're going to put a switch. And you can see right now this is linear. But if this is, and I can move the switch down just a little bit. If the switch then connects to my printer and my workstation and my laptop, and we can add labels for all these later, we can actually, somebody can read starting from here and actually figure out the process of how the network is set up. Next topic we want to talk about is no arrows. Arrows are great. Arrows, however, shouldn't be in a network diagram. They should be in a data flow diagram. A data flow diagram shows how and where data flows in a network. A network diagram shows connections of all the different things that are connected within said network. We are not interested in a network diagram telling us where the data flows. We are assuming that there is some form of data flow within this. It's that simple. So there are two final items we're going to talk about today for this simple episode, and that is, what is, where do you put the name of the network, and, shouldn't we add what year it is? So we see this happen a lot as a mistake. Your company network should be labeled inside the document itself, not just in the label of said document. You should also state what year this was created. These are the most basic two elements that you need to have for any network diagram, because ultimately, if you cannot represent these during an assessment or audit, then that will be noted as a finding, or it will be questioned as to whether or not this is an actual legitimate document that will hold up underneath that process. The other thing that you need to consider is that from a historical standpoint, if you're updating these every single year, you are actually able to save them and refer back to older versions and really keep them organized as best as possible. And history is important for network diagrams. Thank you for joining us for episode 3. Just to wrap it up, we discussed the point of origin for a network diagram, how reading a network diagram is incredibly important, both for training new people as well as for dealing and using it during assessments and audits. We've reinforced the concept of no arrows for a network diagram, and of course, remember the name and remember the year. Stay tuned for episode 4. We're excited to discuss this further.